It's a pleasure to speak with you both today. I really love the show. It's,
Thank
a
you.
juggling tightrope walker of a show, just tonally, character based, narratively. Um, so I guess, uh, curious as a co-writer and co-creator of this, when working on this season, how did you balance how likable or reasonable these people are being versus how unlikable you can make them? Where was the point where you might have been worried you would turn people off?
That's such a good question because I think a lot of what we want to do is whilst making everything feel quite heightened and funny and crazy, we do want these characters to feel real and relatable to a degree. And I do think that actually that's what most people are like. I think, we are a kind of mess of contradictions as human beings. And I think that, it was important for us to show that. And I think in terms of how far we push it, those are just kind of ongoing conversations. And we're so lucky we have an incredible creative support team around us as well that we can kind of bounce ideas off of. But I think our instinct, I think the world of the show allows us to kind of push that quite far because, it's kind of, we embrace the mess and the crazy and the chaos. And I think what was exciting about series two definitely is the opportunity to get to do that, to kind of see how far we can do it. But so many of the characters were kind of so loved from series one that actually the fun is kind of that gives you more license to kind of put, especially like Lenny's character Ollie. It's kind of like you can kind of see how far you can take that, and that's part of the fun for us. So
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. And oh, by the way, you do not have soulless emo eyes. Uh,
Ah, that was
Beautiful eyes.
that was partly my brother used to tell me when I was a child that I had the soulless eyes of a shark. So we kind of like, changed it a little bit, but I really appreciate you saying that. Thanks so much. I'm
Sorry
going to
about
tell
Emus
my
fun.
brother especially.
Yeah.
sorry about
But I do have a tiny Pixar lamp head. So,
Oh,
that
okay.
that is fact. No one can deny
no comment.
that.
You get on a pogo stick, it's
Yeah,
unrecognizable. Yeah, yeah.
it's my
And
party trick. Yeah.
and like she mentioned, Lenny, uh there's so many more complications to Ollie this season after the revelations of the previous one. How do you think Ollie changes this season? And do you really think his mother's actions have sort of been passed down to him either through nurture or nature in any way?
Yeah, I think they have. I think that's quite a cool thing to explore, the sort of nature versus nurture. Um, and I think that there are certain things that have been passed down to Ollie. And I think with Ollie in this series, and it's just every episode he just gets more and more frustrated, because he loves his mum so much, but it's just that sort of it's just frustrating. He's just not, she's not listening to him, and it is just he's like the adult of the whole series in a weird way. But yeah, I love playing Ollie, and I love watching him not grow because I don't grow, but I love I love watching him evolve. That's the word.
Yeah, I mean you're so great in this show and so funny. I love the scenes with Ollie and his parents when he's making movies. Just the banter. I imagine some of that might be improv, but is that something you would like to do, Lenny? Do you have aspirations at all to write or direct?
That is one of my. I'd absolutely love to write and direct. Because I love the idea of staying in the sort of the film world because I love acting so much and I'd still do acting forever. But to do the other side as well, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Well, you better return the favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Write me a really good part and,
Oh, I
and
would.
direct me in it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you. I'll hold you to
Cool.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Um,
that.
Yeah, Jen, psychology is really warped and wounded. I'm curious if you think Nick, for her, is any different from all of the other people she's been obsessed with saving or befriending?
That's a really good question, because I think, like, sometimes I think what was important to us, I think what's always important to me, is to kind of show the why behind Jen's kind of, you know, unorthodox approach to friendships and life and certain situations. And so I often describe, though, her relationship with Nick. It's almost like Nick is like her final boss. Nick is like the one that she's been waiting for her whole life. And I think that there's a meeting of minds. I think there is. Daisy and I always used to describe, because she always says it's kind of very, indicative of our real life relationship, that there's a codependency going on between Nick and Jen. But I do think it's a bit more that there is something that these two kind of humans see in each other. They might not even quite realize it, because they do kind of both have their own agendas, and they both have their own kind of, chaos going on in their mind. But I do think that Nick is, she is kind of where Jen's life has been leading her. So, what might come of that in the end, who knows? But I do think that that's kind of how Jen feels.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, based on what we know, I don't think any other previous person in Jen's life has loved her almost as much. And then you have this sort of, like you say, codependency or stalkerish thing where it's like, if I can't have you, no one can. Do you think Jen near the end sends that video consciously? Uh, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I'm scared because I don't want to give any spoilers. But I think with Jen is like a really reactive person. So I think quite a lot of the time she's kind of act first, think later. And I think that's because she's had a background where she's not necessarily had a protector to kind of look out for her. She's had to be that for herself. And so ultimately, I think that's what she thinks she's being for these women in particular in her life. And I think Jen thinks she's got the best of intentions, but I think other people might think that is open to interpretation, if that makes sense.
Members of
Yeah.
World Beware. She
Yeah.
I wanted to, while I still have time, do a little lightning round of characters and people who are a little morally ambiguous. And I want to see if you think they were being reasonable or unreasonable.
Right.
You don't have to explain. I guess we'll just go back and forth. I'll ask, and then Ollie, if you want to answer, and then Selin. How about Thanos?
Oh.
And if you don't know, just pass.
Honestly, I think he's just, I think he's nasty. I think he's bad
I
out.
think he's incredibly unreasonable. No further comment. The most
Okay.
unreasonable.
Okay. What about Alan Partridge?
Oh, just a lot of the time he is pretty reasonable. I don't know what that says about me that I think that. But yeah, what do you think, Lenny?
I think that I think he does make some quite unreasonable decisions, but there's something about him that's so likable. So I think I'd say reasonable. And he's actually really probably not a great guy, but I like
No.
him.
That's why he's endured. All right. What about Peppa Pig?
Oh, sorry, she's so unreasonable. I can't deal with Peppa. I don't know what you think.
She's vile. She's nasty.
Yeah.
It goes from fat shaming her dad to bullying her little brother. It's
unnecessary.
I mean, I heard. I don't know if you heard, Silly, but Mummy Pig is pregnant, and
Peppa is not going to deal with that well, is she?
I feel bad for that lady.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I actually take back my answer about Thanos being the most unreasonable. It's definitely Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig, yeah.
100%.
I'm just gonna put that baby in the washing machine.
Oh my God.
Film it.
That would be that.
Don't leave her alone with
No.
the baby pink.
What about Fleabag? I'm not sure if you both.
Oh, have you watched Fleabag, Lenny?
Not all the way, but I know it, and I know it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah. I think she's reasonable. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think Fleabag is all of us in many ways. And I think I think Jen and Nick would really get along with Fleabag, because I think she's warts and all in the way that they both are, particularly Nick. So yeah, I'm gonna go reasonable for my girl Fleabag for sure.
Yeah, that would be a self-destructive party. Would
I
love to hang out
mean,
with them.
can you imagine?
What about Gollum from Lord of the Rings?
Well, I feel like Smeagol was quite reasonable, but then he was. Who are we to say what the power of the One Ring would do to
Or
us? I'm
Wheatus?
sorry, So I'm going to go deep down. He's reasonable.
Yeah, I agree. I think but he's not like once again, he isn't the nicest, but he's fighting his demons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
What about James Bond?
Oh, what do you think, Lenny?
I'd say, I mean, is there any proper unreasonable things he's done? I don't.
I mean, I feel like some of the women in James Bond's life might say that he's quite an unreasonable person, but I guess he's got good intentions.
Yeah, but you know,
It's for the kingdom, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but he's okay. We'll say James Bond is reasonable, but maybe he should like read a book or two on feminism. Maybe just that might help his case. Yeah, listen to some podcasts, James. Get informed. Yeah.
A couple more. Keir Starmer.
Say that again. Oh, you cut out slightly. I missed
Keir
that.
Starmer, PM Keir Starmer.
Oh, we're getting political. Wow.
No comment.
I mean, listen, that's a hard job. It's not a job I want. So, should we sit on the fence? I think Keir Starmer's pretty reasonable. Let's say in the context of politics right now, I think he's one of the more reasonable ones.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, God, I'm only 16. It's too much.
Lenny can't even vote yet. You can't ask him that.
I mean, you're the adult in the room, and am I being unreasonable? So
yeah, not in real life. Trust me.
Well, speaking of which, finally, Nick from your show.
I think Nick's reasonable.
Me too. Yeah, I do. I still not the best decisions, but
no,
I don't.
No.
She's not a bad person. I don't think at all.
I don't think she is. I think she is. That I can't remember if this is like there was a bit in the show where Jen is talking to Nick, and she just says, "You're like a little baby duck in a little Victorian pram in a middle of a thunderstorm." There's something so naive about Nick that I think and actually I feel like she's put up with a lot of unreasonable behavior. So yeah, I think I don't know. Again, I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I think that she is reasonable ultimately. Yeah,
I do.
Problem is, what does reasonable mean in an unreasonable world?
Wow.
The beauty of this show is that one of the most likable characters is a murderer, and you've created something really special here. I appreciate you both taking the time to discuss it today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Nice to meet you. Cheers.
Thank you.